My sister-in-law, Lily, believed in scheduling every minute of her daughter's life. What time to wake up, what time to brush her teeth, what time to eat, what to do at daycare, what scores to get in elementary school, which awards to win in middle school, which gifted classes to attend. Every tiny detail was meticulously written, covering an entire wall. As a teacher, I advised a balance between study and play. I stressed that children should be taught according to their individual abilities and that their health and happiness were paramount. My niece, Sophia, grew up cheerful and healthy, got into a good university, but struggled with her career and love life after graduation. Lily incessantly blamed Sophia for lacking ambition. Sophia, in turn, resented me, even threatening to kill me with a knife. She'd say, if I had followed my mother's plan, I would have been at Tsinghua or Peking University by now. Maybe even Harvard or Cambridge wouldn't have been out of reach. With a top-tier degree, companies would be fighting over me, not like now, failing every interview. A good school, wealthy and influential partners, I wouldn't even need to work. I could just marry into money and enjoy a life of luxury. You're just my aunt, what do you mean children should be happy? You're not my real mother, how could you truly care about me? Then I suddenly opened my eyes. To my surprise, I had returned to the past. This time, I will not interfere with anyone's destiny. I am just her aunt, not her real mother. What mother would ever harm her own child? I was reborn to the day my niece, Sophia, started elementary school. My sister-in-law, Lily, led Sophia by the hand, proudly showing off her educational philosophy to the neighbors. Lily presented her meticulous, step-by-step, assembly line-like training method, complete with a clear methodology. She opened Sophia's study plan notebook, showing everyone page after page. Each page was filled with detailed plans and strict requirements. Study times, academic schedules, extracurricular activities, capturing everyone's attention. Observing Sophia, listless and devoid of energy, the neighbors couldn't help but sigh, worried that such a rigorous approach would be too harsh and rob the child of her childhood joy. But Lily paid no mind. She firmly believed her method was correct, all for her daughter's future. You don't understand, she'd say. Society is fiercely competitive now. If we don't prepare early, our child will become a failure. She turned to me. Isn't that right, Yuna? You're a teacher. Shouldn't children be nurtured from an early age? At that time, I was naive. I openly refuted her in front of everyone, stating that children should be taught according to their abilities and that pushing them too hard was detrimental. Having been a teacher for many years, I'd seen countless parents claim to act for their children's sake. Yet they simply forced them into all sorts of tutoring and enrichment classes, chasing after this so-called all-round development. Whether those children truly became all-round was unclear, but many were so exhausted they couldn't even keep their eyes open in class, and their academic performance plummeted. Lily's face turned purple with anger, clearly displeased. I even worried she wouldn't understand the consequences. She went home and told my parents and my brother. Thanks to their persuasion, she finally abandoned that ridiculous plan. My niece grew up healthy and happy because of it, but I never imagined she would believe that I had hindered her path to a better future. When she suffered heartbreak and repeatedly failed job interviews, compounded by Lily's disparaging remarks about her being useless, she came to me, weeping. I comforted her, telling her that the rotten boyfriend wasn't worth crying over. I explained that the job market was tough and even gave her 10,000 yuan for a trip to clear her head. I never expected that, fueled by her emotions, she would stab me to death. After my death, my family hastily cremated me, telling outsiders that I had died suddenly from staying up late grading students' homework. They even went to the school where I taught and caused a huge scene, demanding compensation. Recalling this, I smiled and thought, what mother wouldn't act for her child's sake? Would she really harm her own child? Lily, hearing this, was incredibly pleased. See, she said, I'm raising my child to get into Tsinghua. Don't worry now, just be careful that your children don't blame you later. This time, I wanted to see how far Sophia could go under her mother's nurturing. After the enrollment was complete, Sophia's mother even handed me a red envelope. Yuna, you're a teacher. Please pay close attention to our little Sophia's schooling from now on. We're counting on you. In my previous life, I bore almost all the expenses for Sophia's education, toys, and clothes, and I always spoke my mind. Didn't you once say that learning and playing should be combined, and children should be taught according to their abilities, following nature's course? We don't understand those things. If that's the case, then you should worry a little more. Moreover, the red envelope only contained 200 yuan. This time I refused to be a fool. "Oh, Mom, I can't accept this money. You should save it for your old age. Besides, I only graduated from an ordinary university. Sister-in-law graduated from a 211 school. Her plan is so detailed. Who knows, maybe our family can cultivate a talent for Tsinghua or Peking University." "Exactly," I added. "Her plan is so detailed that even peeing is timed to the second. Even sleeping positions are regulated." A month later, late at night, I received a call from my brother, Frank. "Yuna, Sophia has a fever. Come to the hospital quickly." In my previous life under my care, Sophia had excellent health, rarely even catching a cold. Why was she sick this time? I considered it an amusing spectacle, but it wasn't my place to rush to the hospital, pay the bills, or pick up prescriptions, only to receive no thanks. "Brother," I said, "I just got off work and was already asleep. Children getting fevers is normal. I'll come tomorrow." With that, I hung up before he could say another word and turned off my phone. The next morning, when I turned it on, there were dozens of missed calls, but I wasn't in a hurry. I slowly made my way to the hospital around noon. In the hospital room, my brother saw me and quickly lamented. "Yuna, please talk some sense into your sister-in-law," he explained. "She made Sophia lie on cold stone again." If Sophia hadn't gotten sick this time, I would never have known this was happening. "Lying on cold stone?" "Frank, you don't understand," Lily interjected. "That's to train Sophia's willpower. To succeed, one must have an iron will. Do you want your daughter to be a dragon or a worm? Besides, the book clearly states it. This is from a child education expert who has trained students to get into Harvard." My brother handed me the book. The first minute of reading seemed all right. The second minute, a chilling cold began to spread. I read on, trying to distract myself. By the third minute, my bones ached intensely, and I had to read aloud to push through the pain. By the fourth minute, my bones felt as if they would crack, and I had to bite my lip to redirect the pain to my mouth. By the eighth minute, my hands were completely numb. At the 10th minute, the timer would go off, and your child would feel an overwhelming sense of victory. Success requires arduous effort. "Brother, what kind of method is this?" he pleaded. "Sophia's hands are bruised purple. The doctor said she has frostbite, which then led to an infection and fever. In this day and age, with such good living conditions, who still gets frostbite? And look at the diagnostic report, Sophia is also malnourished. My sister-in-law isn't even feeding her properly." My brother looked at the child education expert's book, his voice hoarse. "What do you understand?" Lily snapped back. "Looks are also a resource now. Girls don't need to eat a lot. If it's not enough, just buy some vitamin supplements. You just lie in bed all day long, an irresponsible teacher. I'm doing this all for our child." I walked to Sophia's hospital bed, my heart aching as I looked at her swollen hands and emaciated body. A surge of sorrow filled me. Children's behavior is influenced by their parents. I shouldn't place all the blame on her. But the bond between child and parent is inseparable. I am merely an outsider. I have no right to interfere, nor can I bear the consequences of others' actions or carry their fate. If blame must be assigned, it can only be that she was born into the wrong family. Time flew by quickly. When I saw Sophia again, she was in middle school, completely different from the sweet, smiling child of my previous life. Her body was thin and frail, her eyes hollow, standing rigidly beside her, not interacting with anyone, utterly devoid of the vibrancy of her age. Meanwhile, Lily grew even more complacent. For years, under her control, she ruled the household with an iron fist, disciplining Sophia as if training a dog. When to use the restroom, when to sleep, when to eat, how to walk, Sophia was nothing more than a wooden puppet in her hands. To achieve her goals, Sophia had to attend 2 hours of extra classes after school, and on weekends, she had to learn drawing, dancing, piano, horseback riding, swimming, and all sorts of other hobbies. Of course, under such high-intensity studying, Sophia also achieved many accomplishments. She was top of her class in every semester exam, and their house was filled with her medals. Lily's bragging grew endless. Our Sophia is always first in class for every exam, winning awards in all sorts of competitions. We have more medals than we can count. Look at these medals, everyone whose child can compare. The neighbors looked on with admiration, praising Sophia's excellent achievements, which only made Lily more smug. After dinner, Lily showed me Sophia's commendation letters. "Yuna, Sophia is attending the best middle school here. Aren't you working there? It'll be convenient for you to keep an eye on her." Middle school number 1 was quite a distance from home. She wanted Sophia to stay with me to save money. In my previous life, Sophia also got into middle school number 1. I rejected an opportunity to study out of province, staying close to home to take care of her. I looked after her for 9 years until she was admitted to a key high school and then directly enrolled in a top university. I never expected her to kill me in the end. Before she died, she even screamed at me, "If you hadn't interfered in my life, I would have been at Tsinghua already. Now I wouldn't be struggling to find a job like this. If I had listened to my mother, I would be enjoying a life of luxury now, not suffering like this." I had endured pressure for her sake so she could grow up happy and healthy, yet in the end, I became the one who harmed her. I sacrificed my time and money for her, only to receive resentment in return. Thinking of this, I calmly said, "Sister-in-law, middle school number 1 is very hard to get into. It's truly thanks to your plan. Middle school is very important. Many children who do well in elementary school struggle in middle school. I don't know why." Hearing this, Lily immediately decided to rent a place nearby to tutor Sophia. Elementary school knowledge is simple. Children are just being systematically introduced. A little lag is normal. Being first in elementary school doesn't mean being first in middle school. Middle school requires higher independent thinking skills, and high school emphasizes flexibility in thought even more. In my previous life, with my optimistic educational approach, Sophia, although not the most outstanding student, was still among the top. This time, it was hard to say. Sure enough, as the coursework became increasingly difficult, Sophia gradually fell behind and her grades began to plummet. Lily refused to believe it, pacing around the house, muttering, eventually blaming the school for someone, corrupting Sophia. She went to the school and caused a scene, pointing at Sophia's deskmate and scolding, "Some children don't want to learn and also hinder others from learning. Such malicious intentions, I'm telling you, I'll be lucky if she even makes it to high school." She then approached the teachers. "Teachers, why is Sophia sitting at the back? She can't hear the lectures clearly, that's why her grades are so terribly low. Our Sophia was always first in elementary school. She's meant for Tsinghua or Peking University. You cannot ruin her future." Middle school students were already in their rebellious phase, and the results were even worse. No one dared to talk to Sophia, they even ostracized her. Although there was no physical violence, the mental violence was far more terrifying. No one wanted to sit next to her. When she sat at the front, she blocked others' views. The teachers could only seat her next to the podium. Lily, seeing this, was delighted, completely unconcerned with Sophia's emotional state. As long as her grades didn't drop out of the top 20 of her grade, she was safe. If they did, she'd face a beating when she got home. Sophia, who was already quiet, became even more withdrawn. Her homeroom teacher, knowing I was her aunt, came to me, reminding me to pay attention to the child's psychological well-being. I could only gently say, "Teachers, I dare not interfere. Her mother makes all the decisions at home. It's not appropriate for me to meddle in other people's family matters." The homeroom teacher, hearing this, left with a pensive expression. She didn't care about anything other than academics. 6 months later, I received an assignment from my school to study out of province. This was a rare opportunity to enhance my professional skills and also a challenge. During my time away, I immersed myself in educational theory and practice. The curriculum was rigorous and enriching, yielding many benefits. I connected with numerous excellent educators, gaining extensive experience and knowledge, constantly contemplating the essence of education, and understanding the importance of learning through play. I realized that every child has their own developmental path, and rigid frameworks cannot be applied. When I returned, Sophia was of high school age. This time, she didn't get into a key high school like in my previous life, but only a second-tier one, school number 16. Because Lily had tightened her study plan even further, Sophia was constantly sleep-deprived. During the day, she lacked the energy to study, her grades plummeted, and at night, she had to attend more tutoring classes. The vicious cycle worsened, causing her performance to freefall. Sophia's mental state also gradually deteriorated, not meeting academic requirements and being deprived of food became commonplace. Lily thought she wasn't being strict enough with Sophia, so she even devised a cold therapy. If Sophia's scores were a few points short, she'd have to stand for several minutes in a tub full of ice-cold water. This way, she wouldn't have to waste energy scolding, wouldn't leave physical marks, wouldn't be accused of child abuse, and could still teach Sophia a profound lesson. Lily had used this trick when Sophia was younger, leaving a deep psychological trauma in her mind. That bone-chilling pain made Sophia terrified of the cold, not even daring to drink cold water. Now, that scene was replayed, becoming a dark cloud shrouding her mind. To avoid Lily's punishment, Sophia cheated on an exam and was caught by a classmate. Although the classmate didn't say anything on the spot, after the exam, she told others in the class and even threatened to tell the teachers. That girl seems smart, but she's not good at anything else. Now it seems even her grades are fake. I'm going to tell the teachers to call her parents. Sophia, in a panic, grabbed the thermos on her desk and hit the classmate on the head. The whole class gasped in shock. Teachers rushed over. Sophia knelt, pleading, "Teacher, please don't call my mom, I'll die, I'll die." As she spoke, she repeatedly kowtowed to her classmate. I'm sorry, please don't call my mom, please don't call my mom, I beg you." Sophia, being weak, only caused a bump on the other girl's head. The classmate recoiled in fright. "You're crazy, I forgive you, just get up." With that, she ran out of the classroom. The teachers, seeing Sophia's unstable state, still decided to call her parents for a discussion. When Lily found out, her first reaction was to question the teachers about whether Sophia had really cheated. The teacher explained it might just be a joke among friends, but Sophia's reaction was extreme. Lily refused to listen, demanding to call the police, accusing the classmate of slander. "Sister-in-law," I said, "the other child might have been wrong, but your daughter hit someone with a thermos." "She hit her head. It's lucky it wasn't serious, otherwise you'd have to pay for medical expenses. Today I called you here to talk about Sophia's psychological issues. The child doesn't speak all day, doesn't even smile. You should really take her for a psychological evaluation to see if she's facing any difficulties or struggles." "What do you mean?" Lily scoffed. "My child is perfectly healthy and normal. Are you saying she's mentally ill? What kind of teacher are you?" The homeroom teacher, seeing Lily's uncooperative attitude, could only shake her head and let Sophia be. Teachers want to save a child but cannot save her parents. They want to pull the child up but cannot contend with the parents who drag her down. Other than academics, she cared about nothing else. Just as I finished my studies, my mother called, her voice filled with anxiety. "Una, you must help your niece." Lily, having been summoned to the school, felt that school number 16 was untrustworthy and decided to transfer Sophia. She immediately processed the withdrawal papers, but transferring high schools wasn't that easy. Lily found a brokerage agency that claimed for just 200,000 yuan, Sophia could be transferred to school number 1. However, Lily focused solely on tutoring and had no income. She relied solely on Frank's meager 3,000 yuan monthly salary. They couldn't afford it, so they wanted me to pay. "Mom, I'm just a small-time teacher. Where would I get so much money? It's a miracle if I can even feed myself, let alone borrow money for this." "Una, you have a stable job, you can borrow a lot of money. Consider it a loan from me. I'll pay you back later on your brother's behalf." Hearing this, my blood ran cold. I knew my mother always favored my brother, but I never expected it to be this extreme. They hadn't given me any share of the family property, saying my brother needed a house for his wife. The initial 100,000 yuan I was given was also borrowed, with various excuses, promised to be returned, but never was. They used familial ties to bind me, to extract money to support her son. Normally, her words were sweet: "My daughter must eat well, or my heart aches," or "It's cold, wear more layers." But beyond those words, she never once asked if I had enough money to spend, never once offered me a single cent of help. Indeed, where there's money, there's affection. In my previous life, I was deceived by my mother's fake love for over 20 years, willingly letting them drain me. Now I saw through their true colors. "Mom, you don't have a job nor a pension. How will you pay me back?" Besides, my brother can just borrow from loan sharks. He's a man, what's there to be afraid of? "How can you say such a thing? Isn't your brother's problem your problem too? We're all family, whose money is it anyway? You're so young, why are you so cruel? Telling your brother to borrow from loan sharks, you truly are an unfilial child." "My son can't borrow money, but you must take responsibility." Just as I thought in their eyes, I had to work hard to earn money to support Frank. He and his children were the real family, while I was just an outsider. Maybe my mother loved me, but compared to the love she had for my brother, it was truly insignificant. Raising a child is a parent's responsibility. This has nothing to do with me. Besides, high school isn't compulsory education. Whether to study or not is up to you all. I finished speaking and hung up. On Monday, after a busy day at school, I returned home to find my front door wide open, as if it had been broken into. Inside, my handbags and jewelry were gone, but my bank cards remained untouched. I assumed I'd been robbed. immediately called the police and contacted building management to check the cameras. To my shock, the culprits were none other than my mother and Lily. They had hired someone to pick my lock. Luckily, they didn't know my bank card password. Otherwise, my account would have been completely emptied. When the police arrived, my mother sat on the floor, weeping and scolding me. "You unfilial child, you called the police on your own mother. You're a wolf in human skin. I'm her mother. I didn't steal money, so why call the police? Everyone come see. I raised this wolf all these years, and now she's calling the police on me?" I was perplexed. Those handbags and jewelry wouldn't fetch much money, and they didn't know my card password. So what was the point of all this effort? My mother had illegally broken into someone's home and taken things. She could face detention for 10 days. Moreover, this incident would be recorded, affecting Sophia's school record. But if I signed a waiver, things would be different. I asked my mother, "What do you people really want?" Once the police confirmed the potential charges, Lily panicked. "Detention." "What detention? She's your mother." "Then why did you break into my house?" I pressed. "If you don't explain, then prepare for detention." Cornered by my questioning, they finally confessed. They wanted to take my ID card and household registration book to apply for a loan in my name. They had ransacked the house but couldn't find them. Fortunately, the school had recently requested updated documents, so I had taken my ID and household registration to school, thwarting their plan. Hearing their confession, I told the police they had malicious intentions. I simply wanted justice, for them to learn a proper lesson. Lily realized she had fallen into my trap. I had no intention of letting them off easily from the start. She immediately began to cry and wail, rolling on the ground and causing a commotion, attracting the neighbors' attention. I did not back down, loudly explaining the full story. People murmured and gossiped. "What an unfilial child, no different from an enemy. You can't judge a book by its cover." I've never seen anyone educate their child poorly and then blame their sister-in-law. When they heard I intended to take out a loan in my name, everyone grew even more indignant, gossiping animatedly. "We should stay away from them. Their child is at school number 16. We must be careful. With parents like that, the children will be the same. Beware of being scammed." At this moment, Sophia rushed out of the room and knelt before her mother. "Mom, please, I don't want to go to school anymore. Let things be as they are, just like this." "What nonsense are you talking?" Lily shrieked. "Who said you could quit school? Who said you could quit school?" She scolded and hit Sophia with her shoe, then finally hugged her tightly and wept. "My child, I'm doing all this just so you can have a good future. I don't care about anything else." She then turned to me. "Sister-in-law, it's all my fault. I just wanted Sophia to go to a good school. I was blinded by greed. It has nothing to do with Mom. I lured her into this. I admit everything. Even if I'm executed, I accept it, but it has nothing to do with Sophia." As she spoke, she slapped herself so hard that her face swelled up. This performance was too perfect, instantly creating the image of a mother who would stop at nothing for her child. People always tend to sympathize with the vulnerable, regardless of right or wrong. Now, Lily had placed herself in that vulnerable position. If I continued to be rigid, I would become the one to blame. I quickly helped my sister-in-law up. "Sister-in-law, what are you saying? We're all family. How could I let you go to jail? I was just too angry earlier and said some harsh words. Please don't take it to heart." Though I said this outwardly, inwardly, I felt immensely wronged. I couldn't let this matter end so easily. "How about this, sister-in-law? I'm not an unreasonable person, but this time you've gone too far. I won't hold you accountable for anything else, but I just want the 100,000 yuan you borrowed from me back. My brother said he was short on money for his wedding, and I thought since we're family, I should lend it. Now what?" I presented the transfer evidence. Everyone around praised me for being magnanimous. Look at the younger sister-in-law of the Zhang family, so understanding. Even siblings need to settle accounts clearly. Pay her back. Lily was cornered, her face pale, and she had no choice but to transfer the money to me. Seeing her easily produce the money, and recalling everything she had done, everyone understood her true colors even better and began to criticize her. I had received the money as I had said. After signing the waiver, I returned the apartment and resigned from my teaching job. After this incident, I decided to distance myself from them and Sophia. I realized the importance of psychological health. I decided to pursue a master's degree in psychology. Before I left, Sophia, with her emaciated body, stood in front of me. "Can I come with you, Auntie?" She looked at me as if I were the last ray of light in the darkness. I looked at her vacant face, a feeling of unease stirring within me. If she were just an innocent child ruined by her parents' ignorance, I would help her. But then I remembered my previous life, all the effort I had put into her. Yet, she showed no gratitude, constantly dreaming of a different path. Thinking of how she had stabbed me over 20 times without hesitation, I could never forgive her. "Your parents are still alive," I told her. "Currently, I have no right to be your guardian." I packed my bags and left for my studies. A year later, I was admitted to the master's program in psychology at Beijing Normal University. One day, after class, I saw Sophia outside the dormitory. She was wearing thin clothes, shivering in the cold winter. In this life, I had avoided contact with her, so we had barely exchanged any words. I was very surprised. I didn't understand why she had sought me out and why she had tried to follow me before. I took out my phone, intending to call her parents, but she stopped me. "They don't know. I came here by myself. Can I live with you, Auntie?" I unconsciously shivered. I instinctively dialed the police. Sophia sat on the ground, crying loudly, attracting the attention of the surrounding students. "Please come to Beijing Normal University," I said into the phone. "There's a minor here." Sophia cried even louder, not realizing I had called the police. Soon, the police arrived. As soon as Sophia saw the police, she tried to flee, but she was caught after only a few steps. I briefly explained the situation to the police, asking them to take Sophia to the station for questioning and education. I called my brother and sister-in-law, informing them to pick Sophia up, but no one answered. Before long, the police called me into a room and told me that Sophia had killed Frank and Lily. I was stunned. After I had reclaimed the 100,000 yuan, Lily and Frank had no other options. They pleaded with school number 16 to take Sophia back, but the school refused. Who would want a student who could just leave and return as they pleased? Furthermore, no class wanted to accept her. In the end, Sophia had to attend a private school, but even there, she was bullied. She sought help from Lily, but was only scolded. "Don't cause trouble. We spent so much money and you're still not first in class." Although Lily no longer physically punished Sophia, the mental pressure was even more terrifying. Sophia finally couldn't bear it any longer. She put sleeping pills in their dinner and then smothered Frank and Lily with a pillow. She came to me because of what I had once said. "I have no right to be your guardian." Now that her parents were dead, she thought I could become her guardian. I suddenly remembered that she had also killed in my previous life. In her eyes, killing seemed simple. "Auntie, can you really not be my guardian? Why did you kill them? They were your parents." "I hate them. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't have suffered like this. If they didn't die, who would?" Listening to her words, a chill ran down my spine. Her disregard for life emanated from her very being. Everything revolved around herself. In my previous life, she blamed me for not raising her well and killed me. In this life, she resented her parents and killed them. "Sophia, it turns out you were also reborn. It's no surprise you're so monstrous. Always finding a way for me, someone not even close to you, to raise you. Yes, I came too late. It's all Lily's fault. Always wanting to learn everything, but what good is learning a little bit of everything? Do you know? Every winter, my hands and feet itch unbearably. The frostbite keeps recurring." And Frank was content with his measly 3,000 yuan monthly salary, not like others who paid for me to study abroad. "Why do I have to struggle for 3 meals a day? Why can't I be rich?" Sophia screamed in the interrogation room. I quietly watched her, thinking to myself, she's beyond help. Someone like her will never regret anything. She'll only blame and hate everything around her. The evidence for Sophia's intentional homicide was conclusive. She would have to spend her life in prison. But perhaps that was exactly what she desired. No need to worry about daily meals, a place to live, no fear of unemployment. Wasn't that what she always craved? Yeah.